Welcome, everyone, to the premiere introductory interview. We have Charles Jett with us today. He is a coach in Chicago, the Windy City. Fabulous place. I've actually eaten a hot dog at Wrigley Field.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And fun place to be. And so, again, the purpose of these interviews will be to introduce ourselves to each other. And so if you're watching this video in the career and executive coach community, please add your comments. Say hello to Charles, invite him to something that you're doing, whatever. This is meant for us to share resources with each other and help each other elevate our game as coaches, no matter whether we're just starting out or whether we've been at it for a long time. We all have something to learn to improve our coaching and learn from each other. So welcome, Charlie.
Well, thank you very much, Mike. I'm delighted to be with you today, and it's just inspiring to see somebody who's reaching out and motivating people who are doing important things like coaching. I really, really appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe we can start off with just maybe share with us a little bit more about yourself and what's your coaching specialty? What do you specialize in?
I am a career coach. Basically what I do, if you're a coach, you have to kind of identify your niche. I mean, who you want to coach, and the philosophy or the reason, the purpose of whatever I did was to determine what I really like to do and what I'm really good at, and do that. So I'm really good at career kinds of things, particularly career strategies. I mean, how do you grow yourself into a career? How do you build a skill mosaic? How do you grow yourself to a career toward your goals and that sort of thing? I'm not the kind of coach that helps you trying to find a job. I'm not the kind of coach that says, okay, I'll review your resume, I'll do that kind of stuff and teach you how to, do LinkedIn and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But I deal a lot with career crises.
Okay.
With the inevitable kind of things that people do that, like the first job with younger people, like, what kind of job am I going to take when I graduate from college, And that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And then I deal with the crisis of the first job disappointment. Like, I'm an electrical engineer, and I hate that stuff. And what do I have to do now, And so they wind up going to radically retool, and they wind up at the Harvard Business School or the Stanford Business School or Northwestern or wherever. And then I deal with people who become bored and frustrated in their jobs. They haven't reached the goal that they want to do, but they're bored and frustrated. And these people, Mike, are incredibly vulnerable to making serious career mistakes. And they respond to recruiters, and they really need to be careful. I deal with people who are bored and frustrated in their jobs when they're at the peak of their careers, like CEOs.
Mm-hmm.
They're the CEO of a company, and then they're bored and frustrated. And what can I do to augment that myself in terms of finding something to do? And then I deal with people who are looking at the next act in their life. They're approaching retirement, and maybe they're turning 65, and they realize that, holy cow, I got 30 more years of my life. What do I do? So I'm more of a career strategy person and a career crisis person. That's what I do.
And it sounds like you work with the full spectrum, like from cradle to grave, basically. I don't know, there's probably a better term than that, but
you got it.
All the stages of one's career that you kind of work with people on those.
I've dealt with a lot of people who are sons and daughters of people who want their kids to really succeed in life, and what college should I go to?
Mm-hmm.
What should I do next? And I deal with people like that, and I deal with I deal with people who've been fired or who've been laid off.
Yeah.
Not in the elements of how to find a job, but what can I do to put some coherence in my career,
Sure.
my life,
Sure.
that kind of thing.
Um, so what would you say is the one of the more rewarding aspects of the coaching you've done? Like, what's something that stands out to you?
The things that stand out most is when I talk to somebody, and if I've been coaching somebody who is a little bit adrift in their life, and they're not necessarily looking for a job, but they want to know what they want to do in terms of the next step. And I don't know, what the experience that I've had in life and my own career and that kind of thing, like, I'm pretty good at aiming them at the right kind of thing that helps them gel in what they want to look at. Not necessarily how to find that job, but how to synthesize their own brand, who they are, and package themselves so that they. My feeling is that, and I've written books. I'm an author. I've written 6 books that are on. One of them is a bestseller, but it has nothing to do with careers. It has to do with nuclear submarines. But I've written 3 books. I've written 3 books about careers, and I'm really good at kind of positioning somebody for the next step. And I don't know what that step is, and neither do they. But I can package them, help them kind of package themselves to brand themselves toward that next step. And it's worked for people who are adrift and looking for something. And then one person I did this with, I helped him position himself into a major role in a major Fortune 500 company, and he wound up being the CEO for 10 years. And it's positioning the person based on that person's skill mosaic and what they like to do and what they're good at, and pointing them in that direction.
That's awesome.
I don't know
Yeah.
if it makes any sense, but that's what I do, and it works.
So what? Who or what inspired you to get into this profession? Then, from after being in the kind of the submarine type of career and culture, that's a pretty big shift.
Yeah, well, I'm a Navy nuclear submariner. I'm an Annapolis Naval Academy graduate, nuclear submariner.
Yeah.
A Harvard Business School guy who spent time in I've had corporate experience. I've had executive search experience, so I know how to recruit. And then I've had entrepreneur experience in the educational world, and my whole focus is on skills. And what motivated me to do this is that I've had an awful lot of experience in this world, and I kind of know what it takes for someone to succeed. And I try to match what a person's goals are and who they are to the kind of things that they can do to see some fulfillment in their life. To reach some goals, to reach a balance between themselves, the trade-offs between themselves, their career, and their family. And it's a delicate balance.
Yeah.
Point themselves in a career that really makes them succeed and pulls it together like a package. I'm good at that, and I love doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so I imagine that you have some various techniques you use to help someone kind of brand themselves or package themselves. So I'm curious, is there a particular model, like a framework or technique, or maybe even a coaching question that is like a tried and true that you really like, that might be beneficial for other coaches listening to this to add to their repertoire?
Uh, I don't have any magic formula for what I do, but I developed a career management tool years ago
Mm-hmm.
that I presented twice to the National Convention of the American Psychological Association that 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 relates a person's competencies and what they're good at
Mm-hmm.
and their preferences, what they really like to do,
Mm-hmm.
and how these things relate to how they feel over time.
Mm.
And my feeling, I believe this from the bottom of my heart, that a person needs to do those things that they love, do those things that they may be a little bit good at, but hopefully they're not good at some of the things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put them in a matrix. I created a little thing called the doom loop. Okay, and I don't want to. I'm not selling this, but I've written a book about it, and it basically shows how one's feelings change over time based on what they're doing, whether they like it and whether they don't like it, and what they're good at and what they don't good at, and how they can actually predict how they're going to feel. And it is extraordinarily powerful in terms of enabling an individual to make the right career decisions when they approach a career crisis. It's also powerful for a recruiter or a company who's going to hire somebody. You want to hire somebody who's really likes what they're doing, but they're maybe good at most of the things and not good at some of the things. That's the ideal candidate. You don't want to hire somebody who's good at everything. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's a bad formula.
Yeah.
So, that to answer your question, I kind of use that little technique that
Mm-hmm.
I've done for the last 30 years. Okay,
Yeah.
and it works every time.
Well, that's awesome. So, Charlie, if someone in the group wants to connect with you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
The way they can reach me is to email me, and my email address is ccjett, like Jett, ccjett at msn.com. I also have blogs. I've got two blogs. I've got one called the criticalskillsblog.com.
Uh-huh.
Talk about the importance of the critical skills in whatever you're doing in life. I've got one called the doomloop.com, which is kind of fun. It tells you all about the thing I just talked about. And then I have a podcast series called It's All About Skills.com. And this talks to you, this presents the importance of the critical skills to whatever you're doing in life. If you work in your career and education and you learn the critical skills, you basically position yourself to succeed. And it's a kind of a synthesis of what I've done. And I've got episodes on that blog that are high school graduation addresses that I've given, and about telling young people to get good at these things.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any difference where you go as long as you get good at these things.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. That's awesome.
So ccjett.com is my email address.
Awesome. And we'll include some of that information once we post this. So yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you for joining in for our first ever coach interview for our community.
Well, I tell you, I really like what you're doing. I think it's important for the coaching world. I hope that other coaches join you and share their ideas. They don't have to agree with me, but I hope they share their ideas and support what you're doing in expanding the knowledge base of the coaching world, which I think is important. I think a lot of people need coaches.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just really appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Charlie.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, bye-bye.